My beloved child, you opened the door for me. I am grateful, not like one who demands, but like one who loves. You allowed the light to enter, and from this moment, much will begin to come alive. Listen carefully. These next 20 minutes are not just time. They are a space where something deeper than you expect will occur. Everything inside you testifies that the moment has arrived. There is a quiet movement in the depth that does not let go. It is not loud, but persistent. It is not just a thought. It is an inner knowledge that you are created for something greater, that something important is embedded within you, hidden, but alive. You cannot always express it in words, but it speaks from the depths. The time has come. Perhaps you have felt it before, as a slight unease, like a shadow of anticipation. Something around you begins to change, and you cannot remain the same. These changes are not yet defined, but their presence is evident. You wake up with the feeling that everything is about to begin. And it is not fear. It's like the breath of a new wind that has not yet reached your skin, but already fills the air with its freshness. And even if you cannot see the entire path, know that your soul has a value that no one can negate. You are not forgotten, not an accident, not a mistake. Your existence is proof of a design. You carry within you a light that may seem dim when it's dark around, but it has not disappeared. It waits for you to acknowledge it. Not because you need to be someone else, but because you are already the bearer of what is important. You have reached this point not in vain. Everything that was, both light and heaviness and emptiness, is not the end. This is only the boundary between the old and the new. The story you carry within is not finished. Even if you felt that everything stopped, it's just the silence before the next chapter. No pause cancels movement. Everything you have gone through is not lost. It is building material. It has not disappeared. It is transforming. I see in you much more than you have allowed yourself to acknowledge. Even when you doubted, even when you felt tired, constrained, confused, there remained a light inside. Calm, steady, patient. It waited for you to believe again that there is strength within you. Not the kind that manifests in noise, but the kind that holds when everything around is falling apart. You are capable of moving forward, not because you have no weaknesses, but because you have depth. And before stepping into change, allow yourself to be open to growth, to rethinking, to movement. This is not always an easy path, but it is your path. And everything that is before you now is just the prelude. I am here to remind you, everything that is meant to unfold will begin to unfold. Not by force, but by maturation. You are preparing. Everything inside you already knows this. And everything in your life is beginning to align with this knowledge. The world is noisy. Hundreds of voices try to outshout each other, distracting you from the essence. Every day, you face a stream of information, expectations, rush, anxieties. In this constant movement, it's easy to lose your inner silence. And yet, it is precisely in it that clarity is born. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to respond to everyone. You need to slow down and hear yourself again. There is a voice inside, not intrusive, not harsh, but deeply familiar. It doesn't demand, it doesn't pressure. It waits. It resonates in the moment, when you are alone, and stop clinging to the external. It speaks in the heart, not in the head. Sometimes, it is silent, so that you might want to listen. It doesn't give formulas, but direction. If you learn to be attentive to it, you will feel once again that you are not lost. You are not a random participant in life. Everything that comes for a reason. Even if you can't understand the meaning right away, it exists. You will learn to recognize depth even in the simple things. You will notice how subtle details become revelations. You will remember that an attentive heart sees further. You will learn again to be in the present, without rushing to escape, without striving to control, just to be. And then many things will fall into place. What you dream about, in silence, when no one is watching, is not by chance. These are not just fantasies or desires that came from outside. These are seeds. They were planted in you not to torment, but to grow. Even if you have forgotten about them, even if someone said it was impossible, they have not disappeared. Dreams have a memory. They wait for you to touch them again with faith. You have been inspired more than once, suddenly, unexpectedly, in music, a glance, words, the breath of a moment. This inspiration is not just an emotion, it is a call. It is a touch to your path. And even if you lost it, even if you turned away, it knows how to return. It continues to burn within you, requiring no proof. It simply exists, because your inspiration is not a random spark. It is the soul's memory of why you came into this world. You can walk a path unlike others. And that is right. Your path may not be straight, but it is true. Everything that has happened until now has taught you to recognize the voice of your dream among many voices. Now you are able to truly hear it, not as an idea, but as a direction, not as an expectation, but as an inner firmness. You are here to walk your own path. And the dreams living within you guide you with remarkable precision. You carry a lot within you, what no one else sees. And among this is the weight accumulated over time. Unspoken words, old wounds, grievances, fears, disappointments. All of it like dust in the air. It's not immediately visible, but it hinders the light from passing freely. To let in the new, you need to make space. And the first step, in moving forward, is letting go of what no longer serves you. Fear holds tightly, because it promises protection. But in reality, it simply doesn't let go. It limits, to preserve the familiar. But now you don't need to cling to what only seemed safe. Are you ready to take a step without control? Not without reason, but with trust. Not into the unknown, but into the new. You are not losing ground. You are changing it. And in this act of trust, you become lighter. You begin to breathe deeper. You start to feel again. The old retreats, when you allow it to leave. Not out of weakness, but out of maturity. You are no longer obliged to carry within you what pulls you down. You don't have to explain why you let go. Just let go, because the light is already knocking. It doesn't impose itself. It waits for space, and you are capable of letting it in. Not immediately, but honestly. Readiness for the new begins with an internal yes. And you have already said it. You can be strong and still tired. You can help others and not know how to help yourself. There is no contradiction in this. This is not weakness, this is truth. Acknowledging that there are wounds inside is not a downfall, but a return to oneself. You do not become lesser when you speak the truth about your condition. You become closer to healing, because true renewal begins with honesty. Not in front of someone else, but with yourself. Guilt is heavy. It doesn't let you breathe. And often you carry it for things that are long in the past. For steps that were taken when you knew less and felt differently. But you have grown. You have become different. And now, you don't need to carry the burden that was only needed for the lesson. You can leave it behind, without erasing the memory, but by releasing the pressure. Forgiveness. Not to forget. Forgiveness. Allow yourself to move forward without chains. Inner honesty is when you no longer run away from yourself. When you look deep inside and don't turn away. When you acknowledge not only your strengths, but also where it hurts. Where you didn't succeed. Where you want support. This is courage. This is the beginning of true transformation. Honesty creates a foundation. And from this foundation, you begin to build anew. not by denying the past, but by the strength of being present. Forgiveness is not always granted immediately. It does not come as an easy decision. It comes when you no longer want to hold the pain within, when you choose freedom over resentment. Forgiveness is not the approval of evil, nor the erasure of the past. It is the path home. It is a return to oneself. Because as long as resentment lives in the heart, there is no room for light. And when you let go, you do not lose strength, but regain it. Forgiveness is a choice to breathe deeper. You do not know all the reasons why something happened the way it did. But trust does not always require explanations. It requires heart. You do not see the whole picture, but it exists. And you are not obliged to understand everything in order to move forward. Just know, a hand will be extended to you if you slip. You will not be left in the dark. The path is laid out even where you have not yet taken a step. Trust does not mean the absence of doubts. It means that you continue to move forward even with them. To be human means to sometimes fall, make mistakes, cry, search, and doubt. But it does not mean being unworthy. It means being alive. You do not have to be perfect to be loved. You do not have to know everything to be guided. You are enough. Right now. Not later. Not eventually. But here. With what you feel. With what you carry. You can be in the process and already be whole. When everything around becomes too noisy, silence is not just the absence of sound. It is a path inward, where there are no foreign voices, no comparison, no pressure. There is you, the real you. Without a role, without form, without explanations. In this silence, it is not emptiness that opens up, but space. There you can hear what is not born in haste. There, it is not an answer that resonates, but understanding. And if you stop even for a moment, you will feel that you are awaited within. To contemplate does not mean to escape from the world. It means to look deeper. To look at what usually hides beneath the surface. In simple things, there are revelations that are accessible only to an attentive heart. Light falling on the floor. Wind passing through the window. Breath. Warmth of hands. All these are reminders that the essence is closer than you think. Sometimes it's enough not to speak, to hear. Sometimes it is in silence that true connection occurs. Inner presence is not seclusion. It is an anchor. It is a home to which you can always return. When you are within yourself, you do not lose contact with the world. On the contrary, you become capable of truly being in it, because you are not drifting in someone else's current. You move at your own pace. Silence is not a refusal. It is a gift. It is a reminder that your center is not external, but deep within. And it is always accessible. Challenges come not because you made a mistake, not because you lagged behind, but because you are moving forward. All living things grow through friction, through pressure, through process. This is not punishment. It is the path. Sometimes the road narrows, so that you slow down and realize you are carrying unnecessary burdens. Sometimes it becomes steeper, so that you strengthen your beliefs. Patience is not weakness. It is maturity. It is the ability to stay in the moment when you want to run away. Difficulties do not make you smaller. They make you real. What once seemed impossible becomes accomplished. And there is no randomness in this. Strength is born not in victories, but in the steps that endure. You have already endured a lot, even if you were not aware of it. Even if you walked with your head down, you walked, and each step in silence was a step of faith. You did not break. You grew. Trials take away the superficial, so that the essential can emerge. Through pain, through fatigue, through doubts, the essence comes out. And you can be tired, but strong inside. You can be wounded, but alive. And in these wounds, there is growth. You become someone who is capable, not only of surviving, but of carrying light. Not because everything is easy, but because you did not let go of what truly matters. Depth is born through trials. You were never abandoned. Even in the most silent, darkest moments, when it seemed there was no response, I was there. Support does not always sound loud. Sometimes it is quiet, like a touch on the shoulder, like a breath nearby. Sometimes it's like an inner feeling that you haven't completely fallen, even though you could have. Sometimes it's like the strength to rise when you don't know where it came from. It's not a coincidence. It's care. It's a presence that doesn't require proof. Your loneliness is an illusion. You may feel that no one understands, that no one shares your path. But with every step you take, I walk beside you, not imposing, not pushing, but supporting. You are not obliged to carry everything alone. No matter how much pain there is, not a single breath has gone unnoticed. Your silence is heard. Your tears are read. Your struggle is visible. Even when you yourself do not realize how strong you are, I know. Support does not always come in the form you expect. Sometimes it's a person, sometimes a random phrase, sometimes a thought of your own, where warmth suddenly appears. Be attentive. You have been helped many times when you thought you were alone. And there will be more. I never withdraw. I do not disappear when you make mistakes. I do not judge when you are weak. My care does not depend on your condition. It simply exists. And it will continue to exist. You don't need to believe loudly for everything to start changing. Even the tiny trust you hold within yourself is already a strength. An uncertain prayer, a trembling thought, a faint whisper of hope. They are heard. They are alive. And they move more than you think. You may feel tired, but even in fatigue, your heart continues to hold the light. It does not disappear, even if it seems weak. It waits. It acts. Hope is not naivety. It is resilience. It lives not because everything is easy, but because you haven't given up, the most important thing. There were moments when you doubted, when everything inside tightened with fear, and yet you continued to look forward. Perhaps cautiously, perhaps slowly, but you did not turn away from the light. This is courage. This is true hope. The kind that does not extinguish, even when everything around seems hopeless. Your trust is capable of initiating change. Not because you forcefully change reality, but because you act from within. You take a step, and the world responds. You move forward, even when you cannot see the entire path, and the path appears. This is not magic. It is the movement of the soul, connected with intention. Your inner confidence doesn't require noise. It speaks quietly, but it is heard. And that's enough to change everything around. You stand on the threshold. It's not just an image. It's a feeling that permeates your entire being. You feel like you're standing at the boundary between what was and what could be. There's no more time to delay. Everything in you calls for movement. Not because you need to hurry, but because the path is already prepared. It won't be perfectly smooth. It won't resemble someone else's steps, but it will be yours. And you are ready. Not perfect, not complete, but ready just as you are. You've lived through a lot. You've lost a lot. And you've achieved a lot. Even if you haven't always acknowledged it yourself. You learned to hold yourself together when everything inside was screaming. You remained silent when there was no point in speaking. You cried when no one was watching. And all of this is not weakness. It's a testament to strength. You are not standing here by chance. You are standing here because you are ready to embrace the new reality knocking at your life. Not as a reward, but as a natural continuation of who you are. Your new reality doesn't require you to become someone else. It asks you to be yourself, but deeper, more honest, more attentive. It unfolds when you stop pretending and allow yourself to be alive. With an open heart, with questions, with trust, with movement. Everything you need is already inside. All that's left is to allow it to unfold. Not through struggle, not through pressure, but with a step. Simple, clear, genuine. And you are not walking alone. I will be with you, as I always have been. But now you will start to feel it more often. Not because I am closer, but because you have become more attentive. You have become freer from the noise. You have become softer, and in this lies your strength. I will go with you in every decision, in every breath, in every moment, where you feel afraid, and you will know. There is support nearby. Even if you don't see it with your eyes, you will feel it in your heart. From this moment, something different begins. Not because everything will change immediately, but because you will no longer be the same. You will not return to the old. Even if you want to, you won't be able to. You have grown, and now you are going to where something awaits you that resonates with your present. And I am with you, not as an observer, but as an ally, as light, as confidence that cannot be stolen. So go, calmly, boldly, genuinely. This is your step. This is your time. And I am here to walk with you to the end and beyond. Amen.